During the MTV-fueled era of the 1980s, both Michael Jackson and Prince became the biggest stars pop music had ever seen. Not to mention the huge strides they made for black artists within the music industry, dominating the pop charts, which were very much enjoyed by white audiences. They reinvented pop music, and throughout the 1980s alone, they produced a combined 30 top 10 hits between them, with 13 of those songs reaching #1. They weren't just enormously successful on a commercial level, however. They were multi-dimensional musicians that broke boundaries and changed the face of music as we knew it. But because of their successes, the artists would also keep a close eye on one another in what would evolve from a pop star rivalry into a full-blooded feud. With both artists being ultra-competitive characters, their huge success meant that they were bound to be rivals, but they were rivals from afar in the beginning. Michael Jackson and Prince never shared a real studio. They shared a stage once, kind of, and they spent most of their lives ducking each other like rival magicians. But now, in a world where AI is resurrecting history's greatest what-ifs, we get a taste of what could have been. And maybe, just maybe, witnessing them finally sing together, even if it's just AI, brings some closure to the greatest non-collab in music history. And look, if your brain just short-circuited at the idea of MJ and Prince finally recording or performing together, congrats, you're one of us. Because let's be real, this is the greatest collaboration that never happened. Both being black artists who transformed what it meant to be a pop star, there were bound to be comparisons. But Michael Jackson didn't take too kindly to that notion, reportedly revealing, "I don't like to be compared to Prince at all. I have proven myself since I was real little. He feels like he's my opponent. I hope he changes because, boy, he's going to get hurt." What started out as a professional rivalry between two generational talents quickly turned personal. In what would be the first time Michael Jackson and Prince would meet, it'd also be the start of their bad blood. In a 1983 show, James Brown would invite both stars to perform on stage with him, as they both were in attendance in the crowd. MJ joined Mr. Dynamite for a brilliant duet which drew a standing ovation from the crowd. Shortly after, he encouraged Brown to get Prince up on stage too. At the time, Prince's fame paled in comparison to Michael's, despite scoring hits with 1999 and Little Red Corvette, so he wanted to strut his stuff biggest, the world's biggest stars. But it didn't go to plan. Prince didn't manage to wow the crowd and attempted to swing from a prop lamppost beside the stage when saw him tumble onto the floor. Despite years of bickering and competition, they nearly did end up working together. Michael wanted Prince to duet with him on Bad, so his producer Quincy Jones set up a secret meeting in the summer of 1986. Prince was clearly interested in a collaboration, but given they both artists were intense control freaks, he didn't like the fact it was billed as Jackson's project and was concerned Michael was again make him look inferior. In the end, they didn't collaborate.
When Michael dies, Prince was in rehearsal for headlining the Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
When the news comes that Michael has died, he immediately canceled rehearsal, sent all of his band members home, and locked himself in his bedroom for days and wouldn't come out. When he finally emerges, they do a couple more rehearsals. He calls me to say, what you doing this summer? We talk. He's, I'm headlining in Montreux. You want to come? I said, sure. I pack up my bags. I go to Montreux. I go to Switzerland with Prince. He kills the show in Montreux. And about 1:30 in the morning, we stopped by a little after party. We stayed there for about a half hour or so. About 2 o'clock in the morning, we're back to his hotel. He's staying in the presidential suite. Of course, where else would Prince stay? Presidential suite, top floor of this hotel with suede that has French doors, I'll never forget it, that open out to the rooftop of the hotel. We walk out there about 2-something in the morning, and we sat on the rooftop of that hotel looking at the Swiss Alps until the sun came up, and all Prince talked about for hours was Michael Jackson. Wow. And it was so surreal because in this moment where these two guys had been so linked in history, back in the day, either you with Prince or you with Michael. Exactly. But to sit there and just, I didn't say, I don't know if I said 10 words that night, but Prince just had to get it out of his system. Mm-hmm. And he sat and he talked and he talked. And in that moment, again, it was so surreal to hear him talking for hours about his respect for Michael's genius, for Michael's gift, for Michael's showmanship. And I will never forget, as long as I live, just sitting there and just listening. And it was just like one of those moments where I said, you know what, I want to hold on to this.
Yeah.
I want to hold on to this. And I just sat and just took it all in. But to hear him express his appreciation for what Michael meant. And again, I think when you've been linked that way with somebody musically and historically, you start to think about your own mortality. Mm-hmm. You start to think about the dance that you will have to do eventually with your own mortality.
Yeah.
And to be a witness to that conversation, was just a moment I won't ever forget.